Hi everyone, welcome to Meet With Us today. I'm Maddie Castile, I'm the Commissioner of Health and Human Services for the City of Worcester, and I'm with my friend and colleague Kathy Esparza, who works for the Department of Youth office and under Health and Human Services. She's the project manager for them, and so we're thrilled to be here with you today.
Awesome, yeah, and this is a segment that we're going to be having for all of you, and we're going to be focusing on mental health and self-care. So we are going to be talking a little bit about some of the things that Maddie and I are doing to take care of our hearts and minds. So Maddie, why don't you tell us what you're doing to take care of your heart and your mind?
So I have to be honest with you, these have been some difficult times for me. I think I'm incredibly stressed, I'm anxious. Sometimes at night I feel my heart racing. I wake up in the morning, I feel tired. I feel like I'm sick, but I'm really not sick. But then I go to my routine and I go exercise, and I walk for about an hour and a half, and then I do some weights. I feel like a new person after I do that. I have my coffee, I have some breakfast, and then I go off to work. But for me, things like exercise really clear your head and make you feel better.
Definitely, and I think that in traumatic times, and in times where like things change drastically, it's really important for us to do things that bring us joy,
Right.
and that to help us process everything that is going on.
Right, and it's important to be able to process that now, because these are episodes of trauma. We've never felt anything or been through anything like this before. And so being able to figure out how to deal with it now is going to help us later on when this is all over. And so figuring out things that make our hearts feel better, that make our soul feel better, is really important. And that's the things that we should work on.
Definitely, and something really important to add is that, yes, physical distancing is really, really important right now for the well-being of all of us, but that doesn't mean social distancing.
Exactly.
And so, for example, some of the things that I've been doing to take care of myself is really trying to do things that bring me joy as well as peace. And something that I really, really love to do is cooking and making art. So every night I've been trying to learn a new dish that I would like to do, and then I've also been trying to incorporate time in my daily schedule to do a little bit of writing, painting. I actually started doing some painting of cards because I'm gonna do like this big mail out to like all of my friends around the world and here. So
That's very cool. But I have to tell you, I'm incredibly jealous of that, because probably this is the hardest I've worked. I think since the beginning of March, we've been working probably every single day, and tough to see some of the things that we see. And so I envy the fact that you're at home and I'm not, because I could think of a million things that I would do if I was at home. I would switch out my winter clothes from my spring clothes. I would clean out my drawers. I would watch all the Netflix shows that I have not watched. I would do some gardening. I have a lot of recipes that I would love to do. But since I don't get to do that, I need to figure out what I do to make myself feel better. And part of the piece is, how do you spend times with my colleagues when we're working together, and how do we are able to talk to one another and vent some of our thoughts and how we feel to one another, and realizing that we're all in the same boat, but what kinds of things we do to make ourselves feel better. But truly it is being able to talk to my colleagues and being able to express what I feel is a huge piece. And that and exercise is what gets me going for the next couple of days after that.
definitely. Yeah, and so something that we brought for all of you today who are listening and watching us from your homes is some of the things that you could do perhaps to incorporate it on your daily routines. So Maddie, why don't you tell us the first advice that we have?
So the first thing I would do is keeping your daily routine. I think that's an important piece that keeps us healthy. Once we lose our routine, we tend to lose ourselves in a lot of ways. So, you know, if you get up in the morning, get up at the same time that you always got up in the morning. Go have breakfast like you always had breakfast. Do all your routines. Take your meds when you're supposed to take your meds. All of that, keep that intact, and that's a huge, huge piece. So keeping your routine of what you were doing before is important to do now.
Definitely. And so I know that I also mentioned that, yes, again, physical distancing is really important, but that doesn't mean social disconnection. So what can you tell us about that?
So I've had a great time of doing this because I always thought that I am not that computer savvy. So my kids have connected me with Zoom. We, all of us get together. I have 2 kids, dogs, of girlfriends, wives, and so they all get together and we have these conversations. Even for the holidays, we're all getting together and we're able to do this the Zoom thing, and we're all going to celebrate the holidays together. I think that's an important way. I think using the phone, which we've never used before. We always talked about that everybody was always texting or always on Facebook, but how many friends do we really have? And this is the time to really think about calling your friends and actually talking to your friends and doing things for your friends. You can cook for your friends. You can cook for people like me, for example, who would love to have a home-cooked meal every so often. You just drop it off at the doorstep, and those are great things to do. It always makes you feel good when you're doing things for other people, and vice versa. The person who's getting it feels appreciated, so it's a wonderful thing to do for people.
Definitely. So. And I think another thing around that topic is I know that our wonderful team at the Worcester Senior Center has been working on producing a bunch of like workout classes and different things that you can stream from your home. So that's another great way of connecting with those folks that we're usually in contact when we're in our normalcy per se.
And you can almost look at all the different things that you can connect through the internet. I mean, if people are in recovery, for example, there are AA meetings through there. Like you said, there's exercises through there. There's lots of kids classes and different types of things, cooking classes that you can just join in with other folks. And so you can find all those things online. So that's a way to start connecting. So I think those are great things to do. But I do believe getting involved in anything else, is like we talked about, gardening, cooking, all those things are important for people to start doing, and to look at these times as not sort of a negative, but take advantage of the fact that we've never had a time in our lives where we had some time off to do things, and use that to use your time constructively to do all the things that you wanted to do. When you were at work, you always said, if I had a couple of days off, how great will I feel? Well, now you have a couple of days off to do this. So don't focus on what's happening on the outside. Focus on how you make yourself happier, how you and your family get together, how you and your friends are able to talk to one another. Those are the things that are important. And I think when we come out of this, we're all going to be a whole lot closer after all of this. And that's starting now when you're connecting with people.
Definitely. And so don't forget, do something that you like. And I think the last also advice that I want to give out is that don't be afraid to ask for help. So if you are in need of like getting your groceries delivered or anything, feel free to reach out a friend, a coworker, a neighbor, a family member, or our friends at the senior center who are available and willing to help out.
Absolutely.
Cool. And so for the people who are listening and watching us, Maddie, if you can recap all of our advice, that'll be great. So number 1,
social distancing, but not really social distancing, just distancing, so that we want to make sure that we all keep 6 feet apart from one another, but stay connected to all of your friends. Do all the activities that you haven't gotten a chance to do before, start doing them. And most importantly, if you have any concerns, really reach out to people, reach out to your friends, reach out to families, reach out if you need help, make sure you do the reaching out. And if you know if somebody is alone or somebody is having any issues, figure out how you can help them also. So
definitely, and keep your routine.
Keep your routine.
Well, thank you for joining us in Joy for All. And if you would like to hear more information about what's going on in our community, please follow our website and stay tuned in our government channel.